All right. So, hey guys, it's Gmail here with Ask You Anything here on Wednesday, 6 o'clock. And I'm going to let some folks kind of join in, but got something exciting today. We have Jake Tranter from Spiderking Studio here, and we're going to be having an exciting, chat about his career, his life here in Douglas County, and just what's up with this whole like filmmaking here. So, but I'm just gonna give you guys a moment to kind of join in and chime in. Please say hi as you guys coming through, so we know you are checking us out and such. So.
I will share it around too.
Yeah, and Jake's gonna share this video so all his buddies get to see this. So. But yeah.
Yeah, my service is pretty bad right here.
Oh, well, his service is bad apparently. So
I hit the share button, so it might have gone through, but I was going to put on Messenger and stuff.
Yeah. So if any of Jake's buddies are seeing this, and please share because he's trying to share this, and he doesn't know if he actually shared it on his website or not. So, but anyways, I'm so super excited because Jake, you've been a great we've been we know each other from La Tip. That is a professional networking group that I'm part of here. It's the La Tip of Umpqua Valley. We have professional in different industry. I represent the residential real estate, and Jake is video production. Correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
That
so
is correct.
Yeah, so we're just super excited to have this conversation. So, just again, for those who are joining in, Jake is a local filmmaker and videographer here in Douglas County and Roseburg, and we get to kind of ask him all kind of question about his life and his work and all the different films that he has coming up. So, if you guys have any question, join, chime in. Hey, Bobby Lee, how's it going? So, we got Jake here. He's going to talk to us about filmmaking. So anyway, Jake, so as people are joining in, why don't you just kind of introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about Spiderking Studio and your work.
Yeah. So Spiderking Studios, it's a company that I've sort of built from the ground up with the help of friends around the area, really artistic and like-minded friends. The whole venture kind of started in 2015, 2016, okay, around there. We were really interested in the performing arts and, acting, theater, stuff like that. And, I worked on some public service announcements, PSAs for the Child Abuse Coalition. And it really gave me a love for the behind the scenes portion of film. Mm. And so I started working on that. Me and my friends came together and made our first little short film called Dead Man Walking. And man, it was terrible, but it was pretty good for what it was. And it was all filmed on an iPhone, all edited on an iPhone. I played like the lead role, the director and the camera guy. And so it's really cool to see how far we've come since then. And, but yeah, I mean, we worked on films time and time again since that point, and we've been getting better with every single one. It's just exciting to see the growth. We officially formed Spiderking Studios as an actual LLC in 2019.
Oh, okay.
And so ever since then, we've been operating as an actual legitimate business, and it's just been exponential growth. It's been really great.
Okay. So tell me, why the name Spiderking?
Oh, yeah. It's not as exciting as you might think.
Okay.
But, a lot of people ask me that. It's, I had this gamer tag when I was younger from my Xbox, and I wanted Spider-Man. I wanted to choose Spider-Man as my gamer tag, but it was taken. So I was like, okay, what's the next best option? And on the little screen, it suggested Spider King. And I'm like, that has a ring to it, Spider King. So I've just kind of carried along with me, created emails with it, and the name just kind of stuck. Me and my friends kind of agreed that it was a unique name, but not like too far out there.
Okay, it's
Yeah.
kind of like Mr. Beast, you know.
Yeah.
He just kind of chose some random gaming, idea and things like that. So.
Or like Rooster Teeth, or
Rooster Teeth.
yeah. Like, when you think of Rooster Teeth, that it's just a weird image.
Okay.
It's unique.
Yeah. So you mentioned you started this venture. Hey, Ariel. And this venture in 2015, correct?
Yeah, around there. Yeah.
How old were you then?
Ooh, well, I was 15 in 2015.
15.
Yeah.
So you made your first film when you were 15.
I was 16. The idea started in 2015. The actual filming of it was in 2016. So, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that age though. Yeah, you're right.
All right. Wow, that's amazing. Like, so tell me more about like, Spider King like studio like right now. What are kind of like, what's your vision? Like, I know like some people have been asking like because you've been doing several movies now. Like,
Yeah.
I think as long as I know you, you already had like 2 movies already out, or 3 movies out since then, and you have another one coming. So it's kind of like, one of the biggest questions people keep asking is because you're doing here in Roseburg, Douglas County, is why Roseburg, why Douglas County? What, what's.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it all stems down to opportunities. I for a long time thought about going to Hollywood, or even Portland for that matter, and joining the industry and kind of moving my way up the ladder there. And
Okay.
the idea of kind of creating something from the ground up myself was more appealing, for one. So,
How's that now? Okay.
so pretty much, long story short, I have the vision to create more opportunities here because there aren't any here. There's a lot of talent here in Douglas County, like so much talent, but people get burned out. They're like, is this going to go anywhere? Can I have my talent very useful in Hollywood or something like that? But I personally think that Hollywood is too saturated.
Okay.
Too much going on, very hard to work your way up the ladder, whereas we can create an industry of our own here, provide opportunities with no like degree needed. You don't need to be super educated on what it is. You can learn through doing it.
Okay.
That's sort of the vision. Yeah.
So you mentioned, one of your vision for building this company here is opportunities. Most people think of filmmaking or movie is just the actor and the director, actor, actress, and directors. Like, can you say more about like what opportunities are you looking to, provide for people here in Douglas County and Roseburg, and what does that look like for our community, really?
Yeah, I mean, when talking about the film industry, there are just so many positions to fill. I mean, there is actors, talent, um, the directors, people writing the scripts. So there's all sorts of talent there. But there's also things on the other side of the spectrum, like people who like electrical work. There's crew positions, somebody who knows lighting and the art of temperature and hue, and then there are sound designers, sound mixers, editors. And even on the business or corporate level, there are opportunities, financials. There needs to be, a balance of producers and finances going into a project, and how it all really like meshes together and benefits the community of Douglas County specifically for me, is that, there are not only going to be job opportunities that we will make available, but also, like I said, just the opportunities for more to do. Not only just film, but having acting workshops, teaching script writing, music stuff. I mean, we work with a music school, so that's a part of the vision already. And there's just a lot that we will be able to provide as far as job opportunities and talent. and entertainment for those who just want to have more to see that's locally made.
Okay. So it sounds like you currently already have some community partners that you're working with to kind of provide more opportunity. And it sounds like when you said like music school, is that like kind of like outreaching to more like youth talents?
Yeah, I mean, that is so. The place I'm talking about is Gene Bechtel School for Music. Very, very amazing place, and it is owned by Michael Wheeler. And
Say, speak louder.
it is owned by Michael Wheeler, and he's a great guy. He has a great vision for his business, and we've kind of had this symbiotic relationship. You know, they do music stuff. We have more of a talent pool, and we kind of mesh together. And so yeah, they've got the youth side of things. I think that they are also willing to work with adults, you know, and they have rentals and things for instruments like that.
Okay. So I remember one time you talked about like a vision of having like a big studio and how that provide opportunities within the community. Can you tell us a little bit more about this vision of this like community studio? Am I correct, or what
Yeah.
is that like? Like what? Tell the audience like what is this big vision you have for Roseburg?
Yeah, so you know, my dream when I think of Spiderking Studios in the future, you know, whether it be 10 years from now or what, I think of you know, a nice big studio that will function, you know, for our purposes, you know, as a studio would, but also something that I would really love to contribute to the community is more of a community center. You know, extracurricular events that are held kind of near or next to or attached to the studio. Um, you know, that would be arcade, laser tag, outside basketball court, a little cafe inside, even, you know, like just a large curriculum of activities that youth as well as adults could partake in, you know, have a computer lab, study hall, things like that, you know, just make it the whole point to that part of things is to bring more to the community. I know there's a lot of people of younger demographic talk about how there's not a lot to do in the town. And so I think providing just more to do on a regular basis.
Wow, so you're really looking to just like build a community center around your movie, your filmmaking business.
Yeah, and that would uh, grow a lot of opportunities for internships, you know,
Okay.
youth who want to get involved in something. We would have a theater there too, and you know, we could even hire staff and things like that, you know, so it's kind of like a mutually beneficial thing. Get these youth coming in or even adults that just want something to do, and in return they can learn more about us and what the, you know, whole idea of Spire King Studios is all about.
Okay. So, one thing like, the question kind of like why Roseburg is because like places like Hollywood, you mentioned financing. There's a lot of funds for that. Like people are literally throwing millions of dollars into making a movie. So how have you been funding your current projects, and what are you looking to do as far as funding your future projects?
Yeah. So I think as if we were to talk about one of the biggest setbacks to our projects, that would probably be it right there, the funding. I know that Douglas County and Roseburg has a fairly all right economy, but as far as film production, it's all been self-funding. You know, even me out of my own pocket. My very first feature film, Limbo, was about, you know, 300, 500 bucks. And that's a feature film.
$300. That's it.
Yeah, like gas, catering for actors, and that's it. And that's not even heard of in Hollywood. Our most recent film, Juvenile, was around the $5,000 range.
Oh wow. Okay.
And even then, that's not even anything, you know, and that's thanks to sponsors and things like that, which we are trying to get more involved in, you know, get sponsors and have product placement in the movie and everything like that, and you know, make it mutually beneficial for businesses locally too.
Okay. So so going forward, you're probably just going to be looking more like ad placement and like, so, as an entrepreneur myself, as a business owner, other than ad placement, what would be the benefit of sponsoring your projects?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's entertainment for the whole company. Whenever I have a sponsor, I say you, the business owner, as well as any of your employees or anything, you can come to any of the showings you want for free. You get a DVD copy. We will offer that here in this next project and future projects. And, I mean, there's different packages that I have that kind of cater to whatever level people want to sponsor. I mean, and we go as low as, $500 and below, all the way up to like 10,000 and above. And each has, you can get a credit, a producer credit. You can have a physical attribute to your business shown into the movie. There's a wide variety of different things involved.
Okay, that's awesome. So let's talk about your projects. So you mentioned your latest project, Juvenile. So tell us more about it. Because I think that's coming out pretty soon too, right?
It is, yeah, next week.
Oh, next week. Okay.
Yeah.
Where is it going to be showing?
It's going to be showing at Jacoby Auditorium, and as well as down in Sutherland at the Radio Day Museum and Theater.
Okay. When is it going to open?
Yeah, so premiering on June 1st, 7 p.m. Jacoby. We'll actually have a red carpet event.
Oh, really?
Nice banner with all the actors lining up. We'll have posters signed, and we'll have pictures available and everything like that. It'll be pretty fun.
Huh. Okay. I wonder what would that look like if we have a Ask Cheney thing on set.
Yeah, I mean, you could totally come and interview.
Yeah. So tell us this movie that, like, without spoiling us too much. Maybe he should spoil. Yeah. But without telling us too much about it. But like, what it's about? What's the premise? Like, why should we go and see it?
Well, I had worked on a project recently, which was just this total gore fest. It was a really messed up film, but I had so much fun on it. And the energy on set was great. And I've noticed on horror films, specifically slashers, with high gore effects, the energy on set is just like so much higher because people are excited about that stuff. And so I'm like, I want to do something like that on my own. But then I thought, how can I make this original? And so my thought was make it original by making it the opposite of original. So I play on a lot of tropes, making fun at horror tropes. And I came down to some twists and turns that will throw the audience back like, whoa, I didn't see that coming. And you think the story's leading one direction when really something else is about to happen, and you're just like, whoa. Okay. There's a lot of whoa moments in the film.
Okay.
And yeah.
So give us a little synopsis of like what the movie is about. You said it's a slasher. What else? Like, there's a lot of different things, like slasher types out there.
Yeah. So the film is called Juvenile. It's about a guy named Calvin Jackson who is kind of a troubled teen. He's in his early 20s, and he winds up dealing with a killer that starts coming into the town who happens to be the same age. This killer, try not to spoil things. So Alistair, the main bad guy, I will say that gets involved.
Spoiler alert!
Gets involved in his family with a murder.
Okay.
I guess I will say that. And so this leads our hero, our protagonist, on a journey of revenge. Okay. But then it turns into forgiveness. So that's a turn on the movie. And then betrayal. So the idea, and I told the news review this when they interviewed me, is that these two characters are total opposites. One, it's like yin and yang. It's the one is forgiving and is showing the moral side of of taking a horrible event in your life and turning it into something good, and one is turning a horrible event and just going bat. I don't know if I can cuss on here.
Just going,
Batshit crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, like, and killing people. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's some moral elements to the film, but it's also just fun to watch. There's a lot of really unique deaths involved, and it's just, it's fun.
Yeah. So tell me, while making this film, you mentioned, for yourself each other's. Thanks, Ariel. So you mentioned one of the things that excite you about making a slasher is because the energy. Like, what is it that your particular film that you love about making this particular film the most?
For this particular film alone, I wasn't behind the camera for once. I was the director and the director alone. We hired a cameraman.
Oh, okay.
Josh, and he did an amazing job, and it allowed me to actually interact with my actors more, go up to them and tell them more about what their character is like, how to act, and it just gave me a lot of peace of mind knowing that, I wasn't running around handling everything anymore, and he's even editing the film too. And
Oh, really?
so it's just a whole bunch of weight off my shoulders, and I can focus on kind of the meat of what I love doing, which is directing for the most part.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I'd say that was the golden aspect of this film for me.
Okay. So you started with over your iPhone, filming it. Did you say you were acting in it too?
Yeah.
You were acting it, and then you were editing it and everything. Now you hitting the big shot where you're actually not behind the camera. You're giving direction, interacting with the actors, and really giving direction as a director.
Yeah.
That's pretty rad.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. So tell us what kind of projects you have coming up. Without spoiling us, unless you do.
Yeah. So our next project, which auditions are actually up right now.
Oh, okay.
Auditions, you can audition in person June 6th or 7th at our studio, and that's all on our website. Or you can put in a video audition. It is for a film titled Trial by Fire.
Oh, okay.
And the interesting thing about this is it's not a slasher, it's not a horror, it's a drama, and there's elements of emotion there, but it's also a feel-good film in the end. So essentially what it's about, it's a veteran with PTSD who uses the performing arts to overcome it. And so it's like an overcoming, like triumphant kind of story.
Okay.
Yeah.
So interesting that this is the storyline, because it sounds very familiar to your own personal story.
Indeed. And something else that's interesting about this film is that I'm not directing it.
Oh, you're not directing it. Are you acting in it?
I am the lead.
You are the lead.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be getting my acting chops.
You're getting your chops.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go back a little bit where the premise of the film is a veteran.
Yes. Yep.
And you're a veteran.
Yep.
And you're gonna be acting like yourself, or what is like? Tell us more about this, because I just find this really interesting that this is the film. You wrote this film.
I did.
Okay, so you wrote this, but you're not directing it. You're gonna be playing it. So you're gonna be in the role of a character you wrote. Is it about you?
There are elements of myself in the film, but I try not to pull too much from myself.
Okay.
So I made it quite a bit different.
Okay.
I'm not playing myself. I'm playing arguably a worse version of myself.
Oh.
Transitioning into what I would like to be a better version of myself.
Okay.
So it's like there's a lot of character development. There is it's a very veteran driven. There's a lot of veteran actors that we've already got on board. Taylor Smart, he served as well, and he's the director.
Oh, really? Okay, that's awesome.
And I really needed to entrust somebody who I knew had that vision. You know what I mean? Somebody who served and would do it justice, and so that I could know that I could act and not think about it. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be, I think, a remarkable film, and it's going to hit close to home for a lot of people, not only who are veterans, but people who suffer with PTSD. Seeing it shown in a very realistic light. There are some very intense scenes in this film.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we talked about how your company and your films are contributing to the growth of the community. We talk about you. Tell me a little bit more about how is your work affects the veteran community, or how you contribute to that, because obviously that's a big part of who you are, and clearly with this film that is part of that. And so tell us a little bit more about it.
Yeah. A big goal of mine is to give the veteran community around here opportunities as well. Like a big message in the film is positive displacement of negative energy. And so taking something negative and using something positive to displace it, that being like if you have PTSD and you're struggling with that, you can take on a hobby or a career and make that your go-to thing as your passion as well as your therapy. And veteran friends of mine have helped me with the writing process as far as that goes. Andrew, a buddy of mine who was the effects artist, he and I have had a lot of conversations. And so I think it will really drive home that, if there are any veterans, or even not just veterans, but those suffering of any kind, that they can come and act and do things and be a part of something. And
So with casting, audition coming up, are you prioritizing veterans in the roles, or what are the different roles are you looking for right now?
It's a medium to small sized cast for this one. Definitely smaller than our last project, but
What's the number? Is that?
I think there are like 15 roles or so.
Okay.
I think, and a lot of extras. There's going to be plenty of extras. So anybody.
Yeah, I was
who
an extra
auditions,
last time, so if I can do it, y'all can do it too.
No acting experience required. It's
So all right. So tell me more about the roles. Sorry to interrupt. So
Yeah,
so you say about 15 roles. Like, would you be able to give us a little hint what those roles are?
yeah.
And what are like people might be interested in auditioning, because there's people watching that they might never thought about being an actor, but but this is an opportunity for them to get the door in the door, right?
Exactly, yeah. For a lot of my films, I like making it an educational process. And so I offer main roles as well as side roles with like minimal dialogue, and then I just have straight up extras. So there's something for everybody in there. And to answer your question from before, veterans, we have a lot of veterans involved, but they're not necessarily going to be picked over anybody else. I think just bringing justice to the story is what's important.
Okay. All right. So, any other like projects coming up other than this one? And like you mentioned, you're starting. Okay, let's go back to this. Train of thought. So this movie, what's the name again?
One we're about to show,
One that you're about to make.
Trial by Fire.
Trial by Fire. So when are you looking to? You say you're starting auditioning now. When do you start filming?
We're looking to film the first couple of weeks of July.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where, like, are there like different location you're thinking, or what is that going to be?
Oh, mostly in Roseburg. I talked to the VA campus. There might be some filming on there.
Okay.
Some filming in local theaters. That stuff is to be fleshed out. A lot of it is in the pre-production fleshing out kind of phase. but it's all going to be local. Roseburg, maybe a town north or south. But that's the bulk of it.
Okay. So, like, how you right now? Are you still looking for a sponsor? What is it that you need to to make this happen, other than just your auditions?
Yeah, sponsors are definitely always accepted. I don't have a current spot for that on our website. I used to. I will update that, but you can also just contact us if you want to support the film. And even if you're an individual, you don't have to be a business, and we can contribute you, whether putting your name in the credits or product placement, anything like that. It would be a great deal of help.
Okay. So, getting a little, not much ideas. Question. I'm writing out a question. Um, Anything else you want to tell us more about this coming film, or the one that's about to come out?
Hmm. Juvenile, well, with all of our films, something to note is that we offer in-person showings, but on June 10th and the 15th, we will be releasing our digital release as well as our DVD release. So if you are not in the area or you can't make it to the showings, there will always be digital and DVD options available, and that's for all of our films.
So, say more about the digital. Like, do you mean like, do they go on YouTube and download it, or where can they see it? Like, and do they have to pay for it?
Yes, so it is paid for. However, you can also rent it. It's like a 72-hour rental for the movie. It's all done through our own personalized streaming service
Okay.
on SpiderkingStudios.com. And so you create a little account on our website. You type in your info and pay for the film or rent the film, and it's all done straight from the website. You can have it on your phone, wherever. You can have it on your laptop, TV, and it's all streamed straight from there. And it's all kept safe with a login and password.
Okay, cool. So I see Ariel put in a question. What has been some positive impacts of your previous projects?
Oh, there's been a lot. Definitely a ton of learning curves. And like I've said in the beginning, every single project has forced me to grow in some form or another, and each has gotten better because of it. I mean, whether it's knowing my limits or working frugally with tight budget. And so I think some of the positive effects would be, for me personally, I've become more outgoing, and I've really come into my shell as a person throughout the struggles and hardship of my own personal life, and talking about the positive displacement of negative energy. This career path has been something that has helped me significantly, and I can't see myself doing anything else, so this is going to be what I'm going to do. And yeah.
Yeah. So, clearly, like, you've been pretty much financing the entire film, all your projects and such like that. How has that affected your personal life? Because I'm pretty certain that you're pretty much like a full-time filmmaker, right?
For the most part, yeah. I'm medically retired from the Army, but and I have side gigs here and there, and but yeah, I mean, it can make things tight. If I have to throw in a couple hundred to even like 1,000 sometimes of my own money into a project, but I see it as something necessary sometimes. I'm okay contributing into my own work. I would never ask any of the crew or anybody else to do that. But nowadays, we're actually getting a lot better with the business actually functioning on its own and being self-sustaining. We do commercial work as well for local businesses.
Oh, commercial work. Okay.
And so that has become something that is funding the company and will fund future projects. And so I don't have to put my own money into it a whole lot anymore.
Okay, cool. So has there been moments where you're like, this is too much, this is too stressful, I'm not making any money. I'm just going to give up. And if you have those moments, what happened?
Um, well, I would say that I've had those thoughts in the realm of, uh, is this ever going to pay off? Is anybody going to come watch this? There's a lot of fear leading up to opening nights and things like that. It's like, we haven't got any ticket sales. I wonder how many people are actually going to come see this. But I don't think I've ever really thought that I was going to give up. And there was one time in my life where I kind of did go that route, and that was when I joined the Army. That was right after high school. So, it was the thought process of something practical, you know, uh, but things work out in interesting ways. Life kind of happens for you sometimes, and I found myself in a really good place as far as what I want to do, and I just don't have those thoughts anymore. Like, it's just not even an inkling in my mind. It's, if a project doesn't do as successfully, then it's like on to the next. Let's learn from it and see what we can do to have a better pull and offer more for our audience and the community.
Okay. So, what's your biggest lesson from all the projects you've done so far? Or at least, maybe the last one. Yeah.
That is a good one. Biggest lesson. Wow. And you mean for me personally? Yeah.
I don't know. Say it all.
I would say trusting people.
Okay.
For me, I arguably have a lot of control issues. I started off doing everything, working the camera, acting, being the editor. And so for this particular project, Juvenile, that we just released, having somebody else on the camera and editing is totally different than what I would have ever done. And it's eye-opening. It's allowing me to kind of sit back and be like, I don't have to worry about this. Usually I'm like, okay, but I want the shot to look just this way. And, but having professionals on set and everything like that, you learn to let go a little bit and let things flow.
Okay. That's awesome. So, all right. So, other than the project you have coming up, what other vision and dream projects you have? Because I'm sure, like, as a creative person like you,
Yeah.
you don't just have one thing in your head.
I have a whole list on my phone of concepts and ideas, all in the writing phase or idea phase, and I really am interested in historical films. I'd like to get into something like that.
Okay.
Even something close to home, like the Roseburg Blast, which.
Oh yes, yes. Oh wow.
Yeah, so I think bringing something like that would be really close to home for the Roseburg community in general. But as far as just creative passion projects, I actually have kind of a cinematic universe that I'd like to kind of build. Like when you see Marvel and
Okay, say more.
the movies are connected
Uh-huh.
and everything is growing to a bigger saga. I have ideas, and if you watch Death with Dignity, the beginning of it, Spiderking Studios, Jake Tranter film, but there's also the Tranterverse, which I have named a cinematic universe that I am beginning to build, and Death with Dignity happens to be the first movie in it.
I did wonder about the ending.
Yeah.
The ending
End
was
credit scene. Yeah.
I gotta admit, the ending was a little anticlimactic.
Yeah. No.
I was
I've been
like,
told. Yeah.
is there more to that?
Yeah. Well, it leads to more. That's for sure. There's
Okay.
a lot of big ideas. I mean, we're talking like I have like 10 years down the line worth of films kind of planned out for this cinematic universe. And it's all fleshed out already. The biggest thing is just budget. We need money. We can't, I'm not going to put out something subpar when I have a certain goal in mind. So that's why we've been kind of writing lower budget films to kind of fill in the gap, try to make some money and um, get some box office in, so that we can reach the level where we're really bringing these passion projects forward, and you can really see the artisticness and creativity in these projects.
Okay. All right. For a lot of artists, for you said that Douglas County has a lot of talents, has a lot of like amazing artists and such like that. What is one or multiple advice that you would give to a aspiring artist right now?
What immediately comes to my head is to just freaking do it. Just get out there and do it. There, I have been there where there's just all sorts of thoughts racing in your head where you think, is this going to be profitable for me? Is this going to do anything for me? Is it practical? And you definitely need to make sure you're secure in everything. You got to start off small. You got to start somewhere, though. So waiting to do it tomorrow and then doing tomorrow after that, it's not going to bring you happiness. I'm a big advocate for living a life of happiness rather than, working a 9 to 5 or anything, even if that means doing things like not going to college because that's just going to put you in debt or something like that. Follow your heart. You know what you want to do, and you got to find like-minded people to surround yourself with, and you just got to do it.
Yeah, that's actually a really big thing because, especially around here, there's a lot of young people I witness have this sense of hopelessness, sense of, there's nothing there out there for me. Why care? Why does it matter?
Yeah.
And you're 21, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So what, like if you are just say to your younger self or just to our younger audience right now, who's 15, who's, still in high school, don't know if college is for them, but very passionate about a certain area, what would you tell them?
Well, for me in particular, I had a lot of insecurities when I was younger.
Okay.
About how people thought about me and how people viewed me. And so a lot of my artistic drive kind of was stunted because of that. I could have started a lot even sooner than I already did. And so what I would say is pretty much what I said before. The sooner you get started, the sooner you are on your path to happiness. If you love something, do it, because life is too short to have regrets and not do it. Make yourself happy. Don't worry about other people because they are not you and they are not living your life. They don't know what's best for you.
Even at the age 15?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, at age 15, I thought, what if I pick up a camera and film, and I'm still doing it? Sometimes you just know.
Yeah. What was that experience like when you first did that film? Because you said I think the advice of like just do it is amazing, but there's the kind of like the I think I want to do this too. I'm actually doing this, and there's that gap.
Yeah.
What pushed you over the gap?
Um,
Was there a Jake Tranter mentor in your life at that time? Was there an amazing quote? What is it that made you jump over? Or was it just like, I just got to do it?
In my particular case, I had a lot of supportive friends. That's why I mentioned before, surround yourself with like-minded individuals, because a lot of the time you are who you surround yourself with. And if you surround yourself with with go-getters and people who have a high drive and have similar passions to you, it'll be easier to get there. But also, do your research. Don't have high expectations for perfection. When I look back on that first film of mine, I consider it unwatchable. You know, it's very cringy, but it was a start, and you just got to recognize that. You know, one foot in front of the other. Just keep going until you're at a sprint, and just don't stop. You know, the growth with each project.
Growth for each project. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. Anybody else have any other question? We actually, wow, got 14 more minutes.
Yeah.
So, I know Ariel, if you're still on, you're one of the actress in the last movie. Is she gonna be in the new movie?
She better be. No, I think there is a nice dynamic range of roles for everybody, and Ariel is definitely a keeper when it comes to actors and actresses. She's very talented, has an amazing voice, and does great voiceover work. And I definitely think I will see her again in the next project.
And she did say yeah. So,
Yep.
so actually, that goes into what is your process in your audition? How you choose the actor to how, what is it? How is that the word? How you cast your actors? Is that the word?
Cast, yeah.
Yeah.
We hold auditions.
But what is it that what is your process? Like obviously Ariel is super talented, but
A lot of it comes down to chemistry.
Okay.
Pairing actors together and making sure that they work well together, that they look well together. Um, you know, and that's why I said what I said earlier about veterans are definitely the driving force of this, but they might not be the best pick for certain characters. I mean, there's some characters that are just not great people, and they have to be that and have a dynamic with somebody who is their foil, as Ariel said.
Oh, hey, Zoe! Welcome. And yeah, Zoe is one of your actresses from last film too.
Yeah, no, she was great.
Yeah. So what was that process like working with Zoe, and how how did you cast her in the last movie? And also, Zoe, are you gonna be in the next movie?
She better be. um, yeah, no. That what was interesting about the last film with Juvenile is that we didn't have enough people audition, so that was kind of a scare factor for me. So what I wound up doing is handpicking people, and Zoe happened to be one of those people.
Oh, Zoe was a handpicked one.
Yes,
Okay.
she was originally going to come on as a makeup artist, and I wound up being like, "Hey, you want to play this character?" And she did amazing. She really did. I had some thoughts of has she done this before? It was kind of a shot in the dark, as well as a lot of other actors, as well as the main antagonist actually, who was also handpicked, and everyone just blew it out of the water. Everyone did amazing. It was great.
Okay. So, and Zoe say she's gonna be auditioning the next one. So, all right. What about the those main characters, especially with you have a main character and your two main character. The other one, the kind of like the main person, and then the murderer. I don't know how to say that. I'm not in acting. I'm not in film, so I don't know the terminologies. So,
Yeah. So.
The protagonist and antagonist.
Yep.
Is that the
So
word?
we got the protagonist and antagonist. Something to note too is that the protagonist doesn't always have to be a good person.
Okay.
Protagonist just means that is the character that you are following. You are supposed to relate to them on some level, but sometimes they are just not good people.
Okay.
In the case with our film, that is kind of what's happening. They are a troubled individual who makes bad decisions, but they have character choices and development that leads them to more of a forgiving mindset. Whereas Alistair, the main antagonist, is driven by revenge and fear and anger and hatred, and they just never leave that mindset.
So how did you choose your actors, or to for those roles? Like how did you because you said you handpicked some of them. Like did you handpick those position, or did people audition and you just like, wow, you're the killer?
Yeah, well, nobody actually wound up auditioning for Alistair the Killer. And
Okay,
so
nobody want to be the killer, huh?
no, I had to handpick that. And like I said, Tristan, who played the killer, really blew it out of the water, did an amazing job. Calvin, our main protagonist, was already kind of handpicked in the writing process. I was making the film for him, essentially,
Oh, you were making,
So
okay,
typecasting is what that's called. And
okay.
just like Trial by Fire is kind of typecasted for myself, I'm playing the lead. So unfortunately, unless somebody just amazes me with their brilliance in the auditions, I think I'm going to be playing that character. But pretty much most other characters are up for grabs, and yeah, it's really up to who auditions, the chemistry involved with this the audition process, and if there needs to be handpicking involved, and that's the worst case scenario, but sometimes it happens.
Okay. So Zoe said, "Hey Jake, have you talked about JMZ?
I have not.
What is JMZs?"
So JMZ is a new venture that Zoe, Michael, and I are taking into new business.
Oh, okay.
It is a talent agency. So,
Oh, okay.
so
I see you hiding something from me. I see.
Yeah.
Zoe, thanks for coming on and like letting us know, because he did not tell us anything about JMZ. So Zoe, chime in.
Okay.
So
No, JMZ, Jake, Michael, Zoe.
okay.
Talent. We've already got the website up and everything, jmztalent.com. Really, it's another driving factor to keeping people who want to express their talent, to have something that they can look forward to. It's representation, just like any other talent agency. So we've got Zoe, who's really good at talking to people, who will go on to bring people involved. And I'm really good at booking gigs, so I'm going to book gigs. And then there's Michael, who does a lot of the, courses and teaching.
And that's Michael
things like
Wheeler.
that. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a new venture. It's very early. It's an embryo right now. That's why I didn't bring it up, but it's probably.
Well, it sounds like Zoe, you are doing a really good job in pushing Jake. So he's got needs and pushing. So it sounds like you guys got a good partnership going on. So, where, like, as far as like talent, like what are they being recruited for? Like, is it for your film or for like other shows, or are you just finding like roles in, like, I know you mentioned Hollywood, but not really, but like, are you looking to like get the talent and then like hook them up with something in the Hollywood, or what is this? Where are you funding these talents to?
Yeah, so essentially, how it will work is down the line when we have a bigger base for ourselves, and Spiderking Studios is profiting more. JBSM, Gene Bechtel School for Music, is also profiting. We can take from a pool of talent, essentially, for our own projects, but we'd also want to get our talent other projects outside the area. If their aspiration is to go up to Portland or down to LA, then we can probably make that happen too. We'll be multifunctioning, that's for sure. And there's this big misconception out there that talent agencies cost money. It does not. If you are ever asked by an agent to pay money or anything, run fast. It is totally free to come on board. However, if you want any sort of classes and everything, we will provide those. However, it might have to come out of your pocket just for training. And obviously, there is a certain percentage that is taken by the talent agency per gig, and that's just how it works in the industry. It's like 10% usually.
Okay.
But yeah, it's multifunctioning, multimedia, commercials, films, music gigs, all sorts. It's just providing stuff for local talent.
Cool. All right. So we got Clarissa Ling here. Hi, I'm Zeb Dia, mom. I want to say thank you to Jake. It's awesome that Spiderking Studio has given people in the community such a great creative outlet, and I'm so looking forward to seeing the film. So it looks
That's
like
awesome.
you're really like having an impact here, as far as like even just a little bit of work, like different things here. So
Well, I'm very glad, and that's what I'm hoping for. It's I'm wanting to um, just really drive home that it's for the community, and in Zeb's case, he really wanted to show what he was worth, and for me, not really knowing his acting ability, again, it was a shot in the dark, and a lot of the time for success, you got to just take those strides and leap. It's a leap of faith a lot of the time, and it's never gone wrong. And he did great. Zeb really showed that he was amazing, and hopefully it can show other people in the community that they can do the same. All they got to do is just jump.
yeah,
Yeah.
is I was just there for as a extra for one of your film, and what I really appreciate is there. It seemed like there was a very good dynamic within the cast, within all the crew, and it was fun. It wasn't just like, okay, we're here to make a film, and this is what. But it's like there's a fun collaborative experience. Is that am I stating it correctly?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's actually a really good point on why I decided not to go to Hollywood. It's because a lot of these big industry films have this really strict aroma on set. It's like, it's keep your mouth shut if you're not important. But for me, I value everybody in the cast and crew as important. If you're an extra, you still have input just like a lead character does. Of course, there's times and places when I say let's settle, cameras are up, let's have quiet on set. Everybody typically knows that it's serious time, but we also got to remember that this is art and this is a passion for everybody. It's not supposed to be grueling and uncomfortable. It's supposed to be fun. That's the whole point.
Okay. So we got a couple more minutes. Any like last thought? I'm so glad you got a couple people came in from Ariel, Zoe, and Zeb's mom. Like, it sounds like some were kind of like you just picked a talent, but you have a leap of faith. But moving towards kind of like towards future, what do you see your team look like? What do you see like how who's going to be part of this vision?
Talking earlier about big studio with the community's involvement, I still definitely see that, but I also see a very big team. We've got a pretty good team so far already, and they've been working wonders. We've got a board of directors, and
Oh, you have a board of directors.
yeah, and so
Actually, say a little bit more about that.
yeah.
How about this? Other than casting it for your film, what are other ways people could be involved in with the work?
Yeah, well, we've always got crew positions. We've got gigs, commercial work that we do. So if you want to learn more of the behind the scenes commercially, we are always looking for team members. And
What about the board?
the board of directors, we at this moment don't have a whole lot of positions to fill. However, community members are always welcome to give their input and to come in and really see what we're all about behind the scenes. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. So, anybody else have anything else to say? Sorry, Ariel, Zeb, if you're in this, any last word from you?
No, I'm just really excited to keep on working with this, and each project is only going to get better. And I'm thankful that you allowed me to come on today and talk with you.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys. And yeah, I'm really honored that you're here and, for I've asked you anything, answer question, because I'm super excited about the community. And are you going to be an extra in the next Chi? Next film. I don't know if there's an next cheat. I'm just gonna be honest with you. So I hope so. I hope there's an extra somewhere, where I could just like lurk around or something. So yeah, and it has been so fun working with Spiderking Studio. Hope to do more. Yes. So and again, I'm so glad Jake that you came here, talk to us, and talk about your film. And for everybody who's watching this or watching the replays, go get tickets from the Jokobi auditorium. Is it at the UCC?
Yep.
At the UCC next Wednesday, Thursday, Friday,
And then Saturday and Sunday.
and
is in
Saturday and
Sutherland.
Sunday. So and Saturday and Sunday it's gonna be in Sutherland. So buy tickets. It's gonna be a good date, good movie. Do throw down support, and then there'll be DVDs. So buy as much of the DVDs or videos as you can. So support Jake, and we'll see you next time.